All right, let's welcome to the Media Center, Jon Rahm, captain of Legion XIII. Jon, welcome back to Singapore. You come into this week straight off your win in Hong Kong. You said on Sunday that there was a bit of a feeling of relief. Have you had any time to reflect on that win? And can momentum be a real thing when you immediately jump right into another tournament?
Not a little bit of relief, a lot of relief. I don't know if I've had too much time since obviously the next day at 10 a.m. we're boarding a plane to come here, right? So the mindset almost immediately switches to this week, which I think it can be both a blessing and a curse. Maybe you can celebrate the accomplishments afterwards, but it's also a blessing that you have the opportunity to compete right away while you know you're playing good. I think momentum is a thing, but you also have to prove it, right? So you gotta keep working at it. I think it's very easy to get a little complacent and be like, oh, I played good last week, I'll be fine this week. No, you still have to do all the good work that goes into it.
You've had a couple of strong finishes here at Sentosa, T5 last year. What are the main challenges with this course? And does it require a different approach compared to where we were last week at Hong Kong Golf Club?
Well, each golf course requires a different approach. You got to find a way to play it the way you think you can score the best. Obviously, depending on how you're hitting the ball, you can probably choose to be a bit more aggressive or less in certain spots, but you got to find out what the formula is for you. This golf course can be quite intimidating if you're choosing to be aggressive of the tee and hit drivers. You have the opportunity, right? Holes like one give you the opportunity. You can hit a driver out there. You can go out with maybe a 5-wood 2-iron to the left side of the fairway, you kind of snake. So it's a very narrow spot. You can go a little bit further back with maybe a 4-iron or 3-iron. Those are clubs for me, obviously. Some people hit less or more. Too short of the bunker, right? So now you're choosing how far you're going to have into the green. It's very, very big green, so there's a big difference between a front pin and a back pin. Coffee. And so on the same hole, if you choose to lay up of the tee, you might end up with a 6-iron, right? And if the next day you're aggressive and it's a front pin, you have a wedge shot. So there's a lot of variability on the course and how it plays and what you decide to do. And like that applies to quite a few holes out here. You can have that same thought in a lot of them, and I think that's why you're going to have very different champions. But at the end of the day, because it's narrow fairways and greens, I know that matters everywhere. But with a rough here, you got to be in play.
Thank you. We'll open up to the floor.
Hi, Jon. So when you won in Hong Kong last week, that was the 8th different country that you've won in your career, and Sergio's won 18, Seve was 20 plus, and I'm just curious, how important is it from your perspective in terms of your career to have success across the globe instead of maybe just limited to a couple of countries?
I'm trying to think right now what 8 countries, but
I can tell you if you want to know.
No, well, I probably remember. Right? I certainly never thought about it that way. I think the only thought I've ever had is how many continents are you able to win, and we don't always. I've never played in Africa, so that's always been a limit. But I think, or actually, matter of fact, never played in South America either. So I've been able to play in 3 and win in 3. I guess 4. I haven't won Australia yet, but I guess it can put things in perspective as well. I think, at least in my case, up until LIV, I didn't play as much worldwide as so many of the players had to play in the 70s, 80s, 90s, maybe early 2000s, especially if they were European, right? Having the opportunity to go and play and go win events elsewhere. I'll be very curious to know where Greg Norman's at, because I think it was over 100 wins in his career, is probably quite diverse as well. I think it's really unique, the opportunity to go and play and take your golf to different corners of the world and be able to win in them. it's quite special. I thought 8 was a lot up until you mentioned Sergio having 18, and then knowing Sevi had 20-some. It's impressive. So knowing that we're playing in 10 different countries in LIV, hopefully I can keep adding to that tally and hopefully get to 10 someday and maybe 20 someday.
Is there a certain challenge to, dealing with a bunch of different courses that are not kind of all the similar? For instance, last week was 6,700 yards. This one's a lot longer. Is that something that appeals to you? That's kind of like being able to win on a bunch of various courses like that?
I think it shows to true greatness of a player if you can win in any type of environment, any type of golf course, country, setup. It's a bit like in tennis, right? If you're somebody that can win across all surfaces, you're obviously going to be considered a better player, and I think this could be kind of the same. You obviously think about it mainly in majors in golf terms, but when you're someone that can do it across the board and consistently, yeah, I think it shows to your ability to adapt and your ability to play golf.
And speaking of majors, you must like the form you're in with the Masters a few weeks away.
Yeah, but we're here this week, we're in South Africa next week, and then we still have 2 weeks off, right? So still a lot of time till the Masters. So I'm not worried about what I have to do today here in Singapore and think about Augusta when the time comes to it. But with that said, there's little things there's things we can do while prepping for tournaments that also help for Augusta. So it's a balancing act.
All right, thanks.
To your right.
Hi, John. Where do you feel your game is at the strongest right now?
I'm sure somebody can find the stats of where I'm doing good. I'll say each week has been different. I think I've been putting really well, and that's been a huge help, right? Making more putts from mid-range. It's something that's always going to help a lot. But I've been playing really, really good golf in general, so I've been really confident in every part of my game.
And what would it mean to have a back-to-back win?
It would be first time since 2023. I think I've only done it very few times in my career that I've been able to go back-to-back. So, and usually they're spaced out with weeks in between, not back-to-back weeks. So it'll be a huge accomplishment. I hope I can give myself the chance on Sunday.
Thank you.
Michael?
Congratulations. Have you ever changed equipment this year? Like a driver, fairway wood?
Only driver. The only change from last year is the new Quantum driver.
Could you tell me the impression of new driver for you?
Matter of fact, only the driver head. I usually don't even change the shaft. I take the old head and put the new one in, and we go on. I don't like to change much. I've gone down that path, and it hasn't worked out for me very well, and I've sacrificed 3-4 months of the season before realizing that what I had was good enough. Mm-hmm. And I've also had things where I should have changed earlier, right? So it's a bit of a tricky situation, but I wasn't swinging my best off the tee last year, so I think some of the negative feelings I had off the tee kind of leak into the club per se. But what I see with the Quantum is, at least for me, I don't see the left miss as much. I think it's a little bit better tailored for my swing, and I have a better understanding, better ball flight of the fade. But it's also tied to working on my swing, right? So I can't say it's both. The one thing I will say is the miss hits with this driver, especially the heel strikes, actually still maintain a very good spin and ball speed, which consistency is key in this game, and that's always going to help.
And also, did you get the distance more with this? Same.
I have gained distance, but I've also gotten stronger over 3 months of working at it. So I'm sure part of it is me and part of it is the driver.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, John. In terms of the win last week, how significant was it, especially leading up to the Masters?
I mean, you must think the Masters is tomorrow, because I feel like it's still with 2 more events. It's very significant in the sense that I don't have to hear again that I've played 20-some events and haven't won yet. I haven't won in 2 years and all those things. I don't have to hear that for hopefully a long time, but I'm just relieved to having that win, to having the satisfaction that all the work has been working, and I've had that feedback, right? I've been putting myself in position, just getting it done, and very happy of how I reacted to Thomas Pieters tying me and me making those 4 birdies in the back 9 and doing what I needed to do when I needed to do it. Those 13, 14, 15 was about as flawless as I can play, and I can strike the ball. So very happy about that, which is always going to be a huge confidence booster going to Augusta, right? But like I said earlier, while it's in our mind and in the back or the front of our mind, we still have this week to take care of before we think about the Masters. So trying to focus on that.
And you mentioned a bit about the off-season work you were doing. Can you just share a bit more about that and sort of did that directly impact the win you felt last week?
I will not be sharing too much of what I did. Yeah.
Okay, hi John, and how do you adapt your game to change in the weather condition from Hong Kong to Singapore?
I like that question because I think nowadays we get the question of, oh, how does this golf course fit your game? And as my opinion, kind of developing from the question that Mike asked earlier about playing in different countries and different courses, is our job as golfers to adapt to the golf course. And the one that can do that the better, I think the more complete and better golfer will be. It all depends on how you're hitting it and the conditions. Usually we don't have too much wind here, even though today is very windy. So it's not overly windy, so you're kind of free to be able to choose what you do off the tee, right? But like I said earlier, it's not a golf course in which you're going to be hitting an overwhelming amount of drivers. It's a lot of positioning off the tee, so you're going to have to figure out what club you want to hit to put it in the fairway, and then most likely a mid-iron, right? It's a lot of 9 to 7 iron into the greens, possibly more depending on wind, possibly less depending on obviously on what you hit off the tee. But I think that's one of those situations where you kind of need to ball strike the rest of the field to death if you can, because the greens are so good. Anybody that's putting well is going to be able to make putts. I mean, those are arguably the best greens we see all year, and good putters are always going to have a good day. So you need to make sure your ball striking is up to par so you can give yourself a lot of good chances.
Thank you.
Hi, John. Yeah, so, it's been a bit eventful week for you, with the issues with the DP World Tour and also, getting some of your fellow players in from the Middle East. So with all those distractions aside, you still managed to win in Hong Kong. So what does it say about your mentality to kind of go ahead even with all the distractions?
I think, like anybody else in their job, you just need to learn how to compartmentalize. Kind of put things in the back of your mind and take care of what you can take care of. There's some things that I can't control, right? So if I can't control them, I really shouldn't be worrying about it. What I can control is what I do on the golf course, my routines, how I prep, how committed I am to every step of the way. And in essence, it's kind of like a freeing feeling that I get when there's a lot going on off the course that you get on the course, and the only thing that matters is that, so you can let things go. With that said, it was a massive, massive relief to have those guys land on Wednesday, right? Just up until they landed and I saw them in person, there was still some nerves that night from Tuesday to Wednesday, being up virtually all night looking at the flight tracker, making sure they were taking off, making sure everything was okay, making sure they were out of the path of any possible bombing and they were in safe space was a lot, but I could feel a lot of relaxation after they landed, right? All the other stuff, it's what it is. I don't know how to say this except truly, without sounding too rude, is first world problems. I mean, it is what it is. There's real problems in the world, and whether I have an agreement or disagreement with the deeper world tour is not, it shouldn't be one of them. So, while we continue to discuss what what the future might be, it's not something to overly worry about when there's real tragedy happening worldwide, right? So when you put it in perspective like that, I was constantly reminded by my friends and fellow players being in Dubai in a war zone nearly. It just puts things in perspective, what really matters. And that's why I think when they landed, it was very easy to let go of everything else and just play.
So, John, just have one last question. I'm just curious how the thing with you and LeBron came together.
We have a friend in common. He lives in Scottsdale. God, I've known him forever. He's a naturopath. His name is Sunil Jain, and he obviously he's close with both of us, and I think he may do some work with LeBron. But they were flying in to play the Suns Thursday night, but they were there on Wednesday. So he asked if it was the possibility and if we had the chance to play together. So I arranged my schedule to be able to be there on Wednesday afternoon, and that was it. It was really fun. I mean, we got to play 13 holes because we teed off at 3:30, right? So there was a lot of daylight, but it was quite unique to see somebody of his caliber as an athlete with his weight in the world and physical stature and everything be as giggly as he was, just being able to play golf and watching, because it was me, the owner of the golf course, and Pat Perez was there as well, watching players play at a really high level of golf when you had never seen it, right? When usually 99% of the time it's all of us watching him play basketball, watching him do what he's done for 20 years, right? So it was quite unique for me to see him so happy. I mean, he was just over the moon, smiling the whole time. He just started playing golf, so he hasn't had the time to develop yet, and quite frankly, this game is not made for somebody who's 6'9". I don't think anybody makes clubs for a 6'9" beginner that's that strong. So he's going to have to go through a bit of a painful process of learning all of the basics before he can truly enjoy playing good golf. But it was a really fun afternoon.
All right, thanks.
John, lastly, just 2 responses in Spanish, please. First, please just share your thoughts on the start of the season, 3 events in with 2 T2s, 2 runner-up finishes, and obviously last week in Hong Kong, and how you're feeling about the state of your game.
Pues cómo describirlo, que nada más que un gran año y un gran comienzo. Jugué muy bien en Riyadh. Quizás los errores que cometí fueron algo lo más fácil de corregir, ¿no? Que era apuntar. Parecía que se me había olvidado apuntar. Quizás al jugar a la noche es lo que lo hizo un poco más complicado. En Adelaide también, jugando muy bien, una pena el domingo que no... Quizás un poco demasiado tentativo, un poco demasiado dubitativo y no suficientemente agresivo, como lo hizo Anthony Kim. Y luego el domingo de Hong Kong intenté aplicar lo que no hice en Australia, ¿no? Y un poco más agresivo, con más confianza, y acabé teniendo un gran domingo, un gran comienzo al año y muy cómodo con todo.
And this week, setting our sights on Singapore, what are your favorite things about this course at Sentosa and the challenges that this venue presents?
La verdad, hay pocos campos que estén tan meticulosamente cuidados como este. Estos greens son increíbles, de lo mejor que vemos en todo el año. Pocos campos tienen la vista que tiene este campo, ¿no? Lo bonito que es desde el tee, con la ciudad detrás en algunos hoyos, con la jungla detrás en algún otro hoyo, ¿no? Lo que es el panorama y la visión desde el tee es increíble. Y también la vista aérea. Cada vez que veo imágenes desde arriba, desde el cielo, es un campo increíble. Que todo el que tenga la suerte de poder venir, si viene a Singapur y puede jugar aquí, recomiendo porque es increíble. Un campo que puede jugar muy difícil. Sé que los resultados son siempre bajos, pero no es tan fácil. Hay que jugar muy bien, y yo creo que habla de la calidad de los jugadores que tenemos aquí en LIV, ¿no? De poder hacer tan pocas tan a menudo cuando en realidad no es tan fácil. Es un campo estrecho en el que hay que hacerlo muy bien desde el tee para luego darte oportunidades en los greens. Greens muy grandes, pero que ruedan también, que te da oportunidades. Pero digamos que para el fan español que lo vea, que le pregunten a Gonzalo Fernández Castaño o a Sergio, que los dos han ganado aquí, y ellos te pueden decir.